welcome back to another episode of It's Warp Time. I'm Sleepy Craftsman, and today we're going to discuss the 5th episode of the first season of Star Trek Lower Decks, which is titled Cupid's Errant Arrow. Obviously, in the build-up, for lack of a better term, to this week's episode, speculation around whether Errant, meaning it's going to hit Mariner, instead of Boimler's new girlfriend. And of course, throughout the previews and clips and everything, we see that Mariner is immediately very suspect here about this new girlfriend, if she's even real or not a holodeck creation of Boimler's. Which, as we go through the episode, we find out that he kind of admits to doing some funny things in the holodeck that he swears he doesn't do anymore. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to do these episodes going forward in a little different. Last week I spent a good hour or two basically writing down all my notes from the video, and the videos are ending being 20 plus minutes long for a 23-minute show minus intro. So what, 21 and a half minutes? Something? I mean, that's too long. So I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, better to 5. It would be better to get to 5, but we'll see. So I apologize for bouncing around as I figured this out, but no one's given me any comments, so I'm kind of on my own here to figure things out. Okay, so basically as we go through this episode, there are a few plots. The main plot is what the episode is open ups to. You're introduced to the USS Vancouver, which is a Parliament class. And I think you can tell from the way the first scene where it's introduced, it's bigger. It definitely dwarfs the Cerritos. It is meant to be on the same class as, like, the Enterprise. Not a Galaxy class or a Sovereign class or anything like that. But prestige-wise, they get the good stuff. So this ship is specifically tasked with undertaking large engineering tasks, which this episode's about. We have an unstable moon around a planet, which obviously moon goes kablooey. Think Klingon, certain Star Trek movie. It can lead to bad things. So we don't want another practice here. So the Cerritos is here with Vancouver to try to stabilize this moon and figure it out. Well, obviously they're going through it, and I think is actually keying off current events. No one can agree on the planet, even if they don't do anything, it hurts them, which is stupid, but it's the world we live in. So, eventually the Captain Freeman does negotiate and figures it out and gets everyone on the same page, except for this other moon, that this moon is blocking this moon from getting pollution. And the one leader, we'll come back to that later, is pleading, please don't destroy this moon. It will kill us all. It blocks the pollution. So, and as we see this episode, it obviously, Captain Freeman and the crew, as they are the second contact crew, ship, see, they deal with the diplomatic messes. This is the perfect example of how they handle that. But we do find some other things. So there is a subplot or secondary plot bead that we saw in the coming attractions about Bloimer's girlfriend, who I am not going to go into details. It is a funny story or sequence of events. Let's just say that Mariner is wrong and right at the same time. So we'll just leave it at that. Her instincts are very good, though sometimes she jumps to conclusions. And I think that's where they're getting with this episode. And then the last minor subplot is I don't know what to call it. Between Tendi and Rutherford, they're oogling and googling over these T-88s. And one of the lieutenant commanders over the Vancouver offers Tendi and Rutherford to keep one if they can help out on the Vancouver getting some stuff done. This was a side plot to try to get him transferred off. But watch the episode and you'll see how that goes through. I am thinking about doing a longer breakdown of episodes later, like how I've been properly. But right now I'm just trying to kind of keep with the original rapid reaction that I was thinking before to get something out there quickly. Okay. All I gotta say is Tendi and Rutherford are nerds. I love them. Okay, there was a bunch of Easter eggs in here. We get the first scene or glimpse of DS9 for how many years? Decades? It's actually a flashback from Mariner from 2370-ish, where she is recalling something that happened with one of her colleagues. She was an ensign still on board the USS Quito, and she just happened to mention something about one of the other, I think it's ensign or lieutenant, being perfect and being a shapeshifter, and he turns out to be a shapeshifter. But I don't think that's the important thing there. I think the takeaway from there is that Mariner, I'm thinking just chronologically, has to be at least 30 and still an ensign. Because if you think about it, if she entered Starfleet Academy around 16, and that takes 3 or 4 years, 20, and now we're in 2080, it leaves around 30. I don't know. She's making a run for Ensign Harry Kim's record. Okay, throughout the episode, we see again that Boimler has no confidence in himself. He's the only one that seems to act like himself. He's goofy, he makes mistakes, he trips over his own 2 feet, basically. Again, we see more clips and instances of people acting not in what you would expect in a traditional Starfleet fashion. Like, I don't know, childish kind of scenes where Lieutenant Commander on the Vancouver chases Tendi and Rutherford to get his pad back. I mean, things like that. But he does have he does admit later the stress of trying to be perfection gets him. And that is true. And I think we have to remember this is animation. You can take liberties here. And you can portray things like that that are over-dramatized for effect. The point is, the stress to be perfect can get to people. And you can do things, you just want to get rid of it. You want to relax. You don't want that anxiety on you. To me, as someone that has anxiety, I know what that feels like. And another thing, and I want to know what everyone thinks of this, is Are all Starfleet command officers or senior officers arrogant and pompous? We saw that last week with the Tellarite. I forget his name now. But again, that's kind of a Tellarite thing, so it's right. But the captain of the Vancouver this week making snarky comments of, hey, you might be able to get this, captain a ship like this one day, to Captain Freeman. I'm like, so I'm guessing most people in the military. I mean, do people do that? Is that the way people talk? I'm not in the military. I am in the, let's say, aerospace and defense industry in the day job. But so I do understand some of the concepts, and I've worked with a lot of veterans. But I've never really come across that kind of talk between higher levels, commanders and stuff like that. So I don't know, what's everyone's take on that? I'm kind of curious. I really want to know if that's an accurate take. And I think that's where this is my hypothesis on where Lower Decks has been going, is showing more realistic, maybe, but overly dramatized because it's animation, the real world. The way that Starfleet and everything in society is in the 24th century for all previous Star Trek, minus Picard and Discovery before then, was perfect utopian for the most part. You know, DS9 got into it, where some issues, and I don't know. I think people are having a hard time with Lower Decks, that they wanted to live up to the utopian thing, and it's just being real. I think the way Starfleet was actually characterized in the Next Generation, I think was, for lack of a better term, insincere. You know, Starfleet is basically a direct descendant of the United States Space Force. Maybe I'll make a video on my other channel how I feel about that. But to think a bunch of sailors, essentially, because I think everyone knows that Space Force is going to take after more of a Navy characteristic than an Air Force, even that they're part of the Air Force, whatever. And I think we go down that route. Everyone knows a sailor curses like nothing, so I don't think the cursing is wrong. But okay, that's the end of my rant for today. It was a great episode, and guys, I want you to tell me what you think. Should I keep this more to a rapid reaction commentary, or should I go into more in-depth detail, a review of the video? Tell me your thoughts. All I'm going to say is I'm going to end this off that I need to go make myself a Kirk sundae with some Trip Tucker sprinkles. I love these one-liners that they come up with. They're creative. But this is Sleepy Craftsman. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. And I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks.